let me just reiterate this, right? So for every client that we work with, right, they have something called an ideal client profile. Like, for example, for StepUp.one, we have 4 different types of ideal clients, right? We talked about those 4 different types, isn't it? 4 different types of ideal clients. Who are those? Founders, sales executives, recruitment executives, and content creators. Are these the only 4 types of clients that we will ever sell our services to? Not really, right? In the last 4 years, this is what we have found out. We have not even contacted the first content creators so far, right? We have 0 content. I mean, we have a few content creators who are already our clients, but that is by accident, not by strategy, right? We have a few recruitment executives who are already our clients. That is again by accident, right? But we have lots of sales executives and lots of founders who are currently our clients, right? So these are the 4 different types of personas or ideal client profiles that we currently work with, right? And for each one of them, there is a different priority. For founders, the top 5 priorities are, in fact, if you ask me, the number 1 priority for a founder is possibly, based on their state, it will either be generate revenue or raising capital. It will be one of these 2. If the founder has already raised capital, his number 1 priority will be revenue generation. If he's already generating revenue, his number 1 priority will be raising capital. These will be the top 1 and 2 always for a founder. The 3, 4, 5 will be the other priorities. It will never be his first priority, meaning for 9% of the founders. Building team, increasing thought leadership, and building thriving communities will never be the number 1 priority for a founder for 99% of the cases, right? Whereas if you take a recruitment executive, what will be his number 1 priority? For a recruitment executive, the number 1 priority will be building team, number 3. But will he call that as building team? He won't, because he is not building his own team, right? He's building, or rather he's sourcing candidates to be supplied to another company. That is what a recruitment executive do, right? They source candidates and then they supply it to different companies who need them. Whereas a founder, when he builds team, he's building his team for his own company. When a recruiter is building team, he's building team for supplying it to another new person, another new company. I hope you guys get the difference between the thing. Kisha, you got the difference? What do we mean by building a team and sourcing a candidate? Is that clear, Kisha?
Yes, but not much clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, not very much clear when we say the founder will need the team for the other company. So is it for technical work, or what is it for that the founder will be getting another team for the other company?
Okay, no, basically every founder of a company, like when you start a company, you always start with 1 or 2 or 3 people together, isn't it? You start a company in a small way, and when the company grows, the founder has to hire, VP of sales. Then he has to hire VP of operations. Then he has to hire VP of finance. He has to hire VP of something. So a founder has to hire a lot of team members as the company expands, right? So that's what we mean by building a team. So a founder has to build his team. And in order to build a team, he has to, go in the market, find the right candidate and build his team. That's what it means by building a team. Cool. So, so these are the 4, personas. Okay. And quickly, I want to jump back to the agenda. Okay. We did a review with a lot of people who are there in this call on the LinkedIn campaign. And we decided, to once again, change our campaign, messaging. Because we realized one thing, our connection message is sounding extremely salesy right up front. I think it's a huge mistake. Rather, I think we keep making mistakes and then we find it and then we correct it. So basically today when we connect with our clients, our connection message is this, right? Hi, I help executives like you deliver on 3 key priorities. It is direct sales pitch. Now, at that point in time, at that point in time, we thought this is good. Farah is asking, did you really answer the question, Anis? What was the question, Farah? What was the question? I don't understand.
Why we spent a lot of energy and time on creating different landing pages for our founders, yet we do the same services.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that question I didn't answer. Right, you're right. So the number one reason that we create different landing pages for different personas is because we want to talk to them in their language, right, about their own priorities, and then sell them the things that they want, not the things that we have. So if you think about it, our landing page, for everybody was this, isn't it? This was what we had. I think this is an extremely important lesson for all of you to learn. Extremely important lesson for all of you to learn. This is the mistake that not only I made, this is the mistake 90% of everybody in the world make. They all want to sell what they have. Do you understand that? What does that mean? All of us want to sell what we have, as opposed to what? As opposed to what our client wants to buy. Does that make sense? We all want to sell what we have in our bag rather than selling what the client wants to buy. Does that make sense, what I just now said? It's a very, very profound statement. This is not true. This is not true just for Step Up. It is true for 99% of the world. You go to every client that you go to, right? They all try to sell what they have in their pocket. They never think from the point of view of their client. What do my client want to buy? Right? So what we were selling, we were selling this idea called hyperscale. This is an idea. Lead gen is an idea. Brand and network is an idea. Like, generate leads is basically, like social selling. So this is in fact, if I go before this, we used to call it social selling and social marketing, right? We used to call this social marketing. We used to call this social selling, right? And we used to call this, hyperscaling, right? So social marketing, social selling, hyperscaling were the 3 products we want to sell. Why did we want to sell those 3 products? Because that is what we had in our pocket. We did not think very deeply about what do our client wants to buy. Our clients did not want to buy social selling. Our clients did not want to buy social marketing. Our clients do not want to buy hyperscaling. They don't want to buy these 3 things because 90% of them don't know what these 3 things mean or what they do. Am I making sense, or is it all very, very, very tricky? If that was so obvious, why the hell did we do this for more than? I mean, we were selling social media marketing and social selling and hyperscaling for more than 1 year at least before we change into brand and network and generate leads. Did we not have brains or intelligence for almost a year? And then for nearly 2 years, we've had this one, branding and networking and generating leads. Now we are saying this is also wrong, right? So
I think honestly, we are growing up.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting a little bit more, slightly intelligent every thing. Oh, Jackson is saying, it's very difficult for them to, because don't worry, Jackson, we are recording this. So hopefully, this will be a very interesting session for all of you. So it's a, I'm really surprised, how bad decisions we make all the time, not just for ourselves, but also for our clients. So it's a great learning for me, and I hope it is a great learning for you. We have to, the same social selling, okay? The word social selling, okay, became generate leads in the second iteration. And in the third iteration that we have done, the same word social selling has become these three things, isn't it? It's the same word. It's what we do. It's generate revenue, raise capital, and build team. We actually execute all these three using the product called social selling, right? But we are not anymore calling it a social selling. We are calling it as generate revenue and raise capital and build team. And we are calling it as build team for a founder. We are going to call it as sourcing candidate for a recruiter. And yet the product that we are selling to them is social selling. You see, so the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is these words really, really matter. And all of this came because we are now starting to think like our client. We are not thinking as a company, step up one. We are thinking from the point of view of our client. What does a recruiter client want from us? What does a founder client want from us? Right? What does a content creator want from us? Right? What does a sales executive want from us? Right? So we are thinking on from their point of view, and then coming up with these great ideas and putting them as landing pages for the founder, landing pages for the recruiter, landing pages for the content creator. Now, does it all make sense? It's a very important thing. This learning is not important only for step up.1, because even if we don't learn this, right, we will keep doing it correctly. But the problem is, if you don't learn this, you will never be able to teach your client when they make a mistake or catch a mistake that your client makes. Like we made a mistake for 4 years, calling it social selling and social marketing and hyperscale. Even today we call it hyperscale because we don't know what to call it actually. This one, hyperscale through email, hyperscale through groups. We've just made it slightly better, but still, our language is pretty bad actually. Do you think a founder will understand hyperscale through email easily? I don't think so. These two products definitely needs some thinking, but I'm not able to think more than this. Does it make sense? Any questions, guys? Any comments?
Yeah, sure. How about the link? The link we use on our posting. It goes on different landing page.
Yeah. We have to start using different links. So when we are connecting with founder, we use this link. When we are connecting with executives, we use another link. Yeah, but all that is not yet ready. We will, we will make that all, ready. Correct. Okay, let me just, move on. If you guys have understood this really well. So I want to review, how we are. So we said four. We said four founders, right? Sorry, four type of people: founders, sales executives, recruitment executives, content creators. This is not the end of everything, right? We might come up with a fifth one. I don't know, right? I don't know, right? Maybe there is a fifth one, a fifth service just for venture capitalists, or for some education people, or for somebody, I don't know. Okay, so we might, and we will think about it, as when we, come up. Now, how are we engaging with our clients? So far we are only engaging with our clients on LinkedIn. We have started engaging with our clients on email just, in a very proper way, just 2 weeks ago. We want to start Twitter from today. We have prepared, last couple of weeks, how to start campaign on Twitter. Ideally, we should do it on Facebook as well. Why should we let go of Facebook? Maybe TikTok, Instagram, and the last and the most important is telephone, right? We need to do it through telephone as well at some point in time, right? Now, we don't do all of this right now, right? The approach, can somebody summarize the approach that we have taken over the last 3.5 years? It's primarily LinkedIn. Let's not tell any other story, right? It is primarily LinkedIn. We have only knocked on the doors of our clients through LinkedIn, right? And we have just kept modifying our first, thing, second and third, and we have done that many times, right? Can somebody summarize what was good about it or bad about it? Just the LinkedIn approach. We never knocked on the doors in any meaningful way in any of the other, social media or email or telephone. Never done that so far. We only done it on LinkedIn. Can anybody tell me or summarize in a few words what was good about it or bad about it? Or even
actually, for me,
Yeah.
if you see the differences between LinkedIn and Facebook and plus the other platform, they were only used for sharing your idea. They were not used for business purposes and then convert. But LinkedIn has been used as a place to make business, to run advertisement. Then Facebook was happened to be like the way you share your about yourself, not really the company working, but some people happen to be having the businesses online too. So the difference was about how industrial use all those in terms of business, I think.
Yeah. No, that is partly true. LinkedIn was the most professional social media platform, and we were offering a professional service. So it makes all the sense to use LinkedIn. But can anybody comment on what were some of the things that we were doing wrong on LinkedIn itself? Wow. It's hard to find fault with our work. All of us need to, learn how to critique, isn't it? If we cannot critique our own work, how can we critique the work of our clients?
Hello, Mr. Ness.
Yeah, yes, Jackson, go ahead.
Yes, I think LinkedIn did a very fantastic job.
Mhm.
It's because we are identified because of LinkedIn. And then on the other hand,
Mm.
that we struggled so hard with LinkedIn in terms of the content sharing. We came up with various contents.
Mhm.
We are changing there. What I can comment, our failure on LinkedIn
Mm.
was all about the creation of the content that we used to share. So we never had a single we never had one statement that we could give out to that we could share with our potentials. That we came up with various content, and I believe that was part of our failure on LinkedIn.
Okay. Many different content. Yeah, I think, that's a good point of view. Okay, we came up with many different content, like our first message, second message, third message, kept, moving back and forth. Yeah, what else did we do? I'm not, see, we can say a lot of things are wrong, but I wanted to understand why it was wrong. For example, Jackson correctly pointed out that we have many different things, but many different itself is not wrong, right? There must be wrong about every one of them that we did, right? Yes.
If I can,
Yeah.
if
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackson.
yes, if I can touch, let's say, okay, for example, we had the first message. The first message, for instance, had a different content. And then even the second message. These messages were flowing gradually. But all of a sudden, you create a different message carrying different content, though with a bit of similarities. It's brought kind of confusion to our clients. Remember, we could connect to the client, we spend a month or even weeks to realize that the content had been changed. And then the other content sent to the client remains the same. I think that was it brought kind of confusion in one way or
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I think, we need to be a little bit quick in terms of, our thing. Okay, just keep talking, guys. Yeah, next one, please. So the key learnings
Yes.
is, many changes and to our core outreach message. Yeah, that's not a good idea. You should not change it so many times. But without changing, we'll never know, which worked. And yeah, the LinkedIn restrictions always was a problem. We did not understand, LinkedIn restrictions. Yeah, that's a good point, Moses. What else? What else are the problems? Yeah, just let Farah go, because I think he's been raising them for a long time. Yeah, Farah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted short briefly to talk about the LinkedIn strategy. So to be very straightforward, I think LinkedIn was quite slow. The conversion rate that we were actually getting was we were getting one client out of 1,000 that we approached. So we could say that was a little bit of a slow. And whatever we were doing for ourselves, that's what we were doing for our clients. I think the main problem that we had was whenever, like, for example, if we approach 1,000 clients, maybe 100 will connect with us. So the 900 remaining, that is, I think, the failure that we there was nothing that we could do about them.
Yeah.
So the 900 remaining, there's nothing that we could do about them. So I think that was the restriction. That was our limitation, because maybe they haven't seen our message, or they don't come to LinkedIn and all of that. So that is my summary on LinkedIn strategy.
Yeah, yeah. Very good, very good. Excellent.
Yeah, hi, Ernest.
Yes.
Yeah, I think from my understanding, the observation is like the tag audience, the wrong tag audience sometimes is that make it slow to get our performance of getting job. That is my observation.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? I mean, still I haven't got my core answer. What was something that was not right about? I mean, if you think about it, the only thing that we did with LinkedIn is, reach out to people with a message. That's all. Right? So if our message was good, people connected back, we want something. If our message was bad, people just ignored us. Yes, Ruach.
Yes, what I want to add on this issue is we are getting some industries, some area where they are not interested with our services, like those of Middle East. I can say those of Asia and some North America. They are not interested with our services. There is challenge somewhere, and also there is a when collecting those contact, you may get 0 connection and 1 connection, and from there you cannot win a client from them.
Yeah, very good points. So geographies that are bad, members with very few connections who are also bad. So bad geographies, bad LinkedIn members, or bad potential clients. Good point. What else? Any last quick points?
Yeah, Mr. Nis.
Yes. Go ahead, Jackson. I think you've gone on mute.
Sorry, I'm talking about our feedbacking, the way we could give the feedback to the potential clients. Remember, we struggled so hard. We went ahead to create Discord and so many other platforms, such that we can curb the challenge of feedbacking to our clients. Some of our feedback were not relevant enough to convince the client to subscribe or to sign. That was also another kind of weakness that I spotted.
When you say our feedback is not good, you mean, that's let's say the client is asking question, but we are not able to give them good answers. Is that what you mean by feedback?
What I'm meaning by feedback, Mr. Anis, remember that some graduates were struggling on what to give feedback.
Yes.
Like them, yeah, let's say like you have reached out to the client,
yeah,
and the client has given you the feedback, and then you lack the concrete content to give back to the client, the potential client.
That is good. Very extraordinary observation, Jackson. Our answers were not good enough, or our answers were not well researched. Our answers were bad. When a client asked a question, when a client did something, we didn't do a good job of responding to the client. This is fantastic. Yep. This is fantastic. What else? What else is wrong with our LinkedIn? Because the reason I'm asking what is wrong with our LinkedIn is so that you can find out what is wrong with our client's approach also. So you remember, our current approach is this, isn't it? Let me show you what is our current, approach, right? Our how will you engage our client on LinkedIn? Yeah, what is our first message, second message is all there. Oh God. Okay, so our first message right now is this, right? Hi, I help executives like you deliver on 3 key priorities. Increase the reach of your thought leadership, grow your network with relevant people, generate leads for your business. Can we connect? This is what we've been doing for the last 3 to 6 months. I don't know when we changed it, but we changed it 6 months ago, I think, or 3 months ago. I don't know. What is wrong with this?
Yes. Let me say something. Can I go?
Yes, of course.
Through this past message that we changed recently, I think month ago, what I see it is not going well. We didn't win any some client. Also, the connection back is very low, and also there's no some feedback from client. It is not going well. I hope we can change it because the better one is that we change it with it 6 months ago. Like mine, I do connection. Very few of them were getting back from me, and I didn't get feedback from them.
Yeah.
Let me see. But
I wish, Ruwach, you told me this feedback some days ago or a month ago. We have already changing it. So good you're telling me. But what I'm asking from all of you, Susan, you can go next. What is wrong with this message? This is the brilliant message that all of us, thought was amazing. When I introduced it, everybody said very good stuff. Now you're saying, yes, it's not working. I also know now, how foolish I have been. What is wrong with this message? Jackson, you can go. Susan, you can go. Anybody who can comment about it can go. What is wrong
I
with
just had a question.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Yes.
Most of my contacts are people from the army. So I was just wondering how does this message, like, how does it even apply with them? Because there are people who are working with the army, and this one is about business people. How does it even connect to them?
It should not. We have to review the thing. I don't understand why we have to look into it, because we are there is no army people that we are doing here. So we really need to look into it. If you can give me a few, if you post a few LinkedIn URLs of the people that you're being asked to connect, I can look into it. Yeah, so that actually falls into the area of wrong target audience. Yeah, go ahead, Jackson. What is wrong with this message? Can anybody tell me what is wrong with this message? It is such a brilliant message. Ask a question, point blank and direct. But what is wrong with this? Why are we not getting good results? Yes, patience.
Hello, Mr. Anis. If you can allow me to talk about the message itself is something really brilliant. But on the other hand, not all of us were using the same message at the same time. For example, some people who are not attending weekly meetings, they are missing out on the changes. On that note, it's creating a room of failure.
Yeah, good point.
So that's what I wanted to.
Yeah. So that's a very good point. I'll note it down somewhere. Wait. So it is basically, our answers are not good, and then consistent. Everyone must know where to pick up the latest messages from, whether they are LinkedIn or whether it is email. Yeah. Okay, I noted it down. Bahana says the message is very direct and salesy. Yes, that's absolutely right, Bahana. Yes, Farah? Too general.
That is that's what I wanted to say actually. The other thing is it is it is individual. So it is when our graduate sends the message on behalf, he is not representing us actually. Like the previous one, we use the word we are a refugee led. So that was step up one actually sending the message. But now it is the individual sending the message.
Yeah, this is a big thing. But individual versus company. This is another big debatable thing. Yeah, very good point. I will put the most important point. It is too direct and too salesy. That's the most important point I've got so far. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Kisha.
Yes, mine could be we are in the message we are showing much of our expertise and not provoking the emotions of the people that we are contacting, because the market of digital marketing is very vast, and then they have the expert in it that we can't compare ourselves to. But if we can be provoking a little bit the emotions of people to contribute, as our first messages, to contribute to the refugee crisis that brought many to the meetings, and even brought many to hire in a name of contributing to the crisis of refugees. So it should be having a sense, like the video that we had. Many people are appreciating the thing that we are doing because of the video and the story that we have, and not because we are so much expert in digital marketing.
Very good, Kisha. Excellent point. Excellent point. Excellent point. Fantastic point. Ali Bolocho says, it is not the matter of the message. Even the clients we are working for are using the same kind of messages, which is interesting. Ali, you say this. If they are using the same kind of messages, then they are also doing the same mistake we have done. The problem is our target. Yes, that is possible. We are targeting the wrong people, wrong region. US does not provide a success to us, not only to us, but even for the clients we work for. So Ali, if you exclude US, I agree with you. There is a lot of merit into your point, but US market is the #1 market for all of us. It's not like we have to find a way to succeed in the US market, right? Even if we succeed everywhere else, if you don't succeed in US, we have a problem. So it's important that we succeed, but you have a lot of really good points you're making. Good. Okay. Yeah, but what have we learned from this? I just wanted to ask, what is I think, I have also said this many times. Think like a normal, simple human thing, right? See, none of us like to be pitched to, in the first time that somebody, like, just imagine, somebody comes to our house, knocks our door, and then immediately starts selling some product. None of us likes a sales guy who's trying to push something down our throat. It's a human nature. I don't know about you, but is this something that you agree with me, or you think differently? But even if you think differently, it's okay. You can read a lot of books and this thing, nobody likes to be, nobody likes anything that is direct and salesy on the first attempt, right? I don't know why, such a simple principle missed me, and who's been in sales for like 25 years. I'm really surprised, right? It's a very simple thing. None of us like it, but yet our last message is the worst message of all the messages that I have ever come up with, right? I just cannot understand how I did that. It's extremely direct and extremely salesy. Both are a huge problem. Selling something has to be very, very subtle. Selling has to be extremely subtle. And I haven't yet, figured out the perfect way, but I really think, we have to completely change our strategy in terms of our outreach messages. First, it has to be about our story. and it has to be about, lending their voice. We have to make our clients engage with us without buying our services. Our clients should be able to accept our connections, respond to our messages, and be willing to share our story on their social media networks. If we are able to achieve that, then it is very much possible to make them our clients as well. If we try to sell something down somebody's throat, we are going to fail miserably, and which is what I think we have been doing for some time now. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So 3 broad corrections we need to do. One, we need to reframe our messages completely on all things, everywhere, because I think it's not like, we should not sell. At some point in time we have to sell, but we have to sell, once there is something going on, not when the first message. Selling through the first message, whether we are doing it for ourselves or for our client, is a huge problem, and we are only making it worse. So we need to reframe our messages completely. The second is, we need to also look at our target audience, so that that's because many of you have this thing like, how can we avoid these people, right? We also need to research and focus on the best clients from our target audience. I am surprised, nobody said one thing which I was really looking at, right? Which was only our strategy. One of the other things that we were doing on LinkedIn is a blind and robotic execution of the campaign. Do you guys agree that this is something wrong that we were doing? Blind and robotic execution of the campaign. I mean, it was not something, we knew that very well. We want, because all of us wanted to learn the game very well, which is why we, compelled everybody to do a blind and robotic execution. We compelled pretty much. But this is wrong. We have to, the biggest difference between us and a robot which can do the job is that we can click on a client, read about the client, think about the client, and then execute the campaign. This is our biggest differentiator, and we have not been using our biggest differentiator all these years, right? Because the robot can do all the things that we are doing currently. And there are thousands of robot companies right now who are selling that for $30 a month. Right. So we have to, and that's the point that, we are trying to, how can we research and focus on our best clients? So instead of blindly, so what does this mean? I want to tell, right? Instead of blindly sending 100 connections, can we send only 10 a day? So instead of sending 100 connections a week, can we send 10 a day and do a thorough research about each one of those 10 and go after each one of those 10 as if we are going to sign each one of the 10? Correct? We don't treat our clients as if we're going to sign them, right? We just think, okay, whatever comes, let it come. Is that making sense? Research and focus on the best clients, and then adopt a 360-degree approach to onboarding. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay. Any questions? These are the 4 things that I was thinking, we should do. We should entirely reframe our message. And the idea should be, they cannot be salesy, they cannot be direct. First, we have to engage our thing emotionally. We have to make them buy into our story. We have to make them share our story. Then we have to sell to them. We have to create a relationship in the process, and we have to sell to them. Right? Or we will use different channels to do different things. We'll definitely re-looking at the target audience. We are also researching and focusing on the best clients from our target audience, not all clients. Earlier, we were blindly and robotically executing our campaign across all of our clients. Can we research and focus on the best clients? And then finally, adopt a 360-degree approach. Can anybody, without me telling you, what possibly is a 360-degree approach? What this could possibly mean? What is a 360-degree approach? Anybody? Just a guess. What is a 360-degree approach to onboarding clients? I'm not even saying, selling to clients. I'm saying 360-degree approach to onboarding new clients.
Yes, and if I give it a try, I think this is flowing the client across all social media channels. For example, liking their tweets, retweeting perhaps if it's so moving or so important. Then also liking their LinkedIn post and all that. So from your word 360, I understood is flowing the client across all social media and interacting with them without even going direct to the message, interacting with them through the comment section and all that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Very good answer. Yeah. A 360-degree approach is like, instead of a simple, you can Google about this 360-degree approach. It's basically, doing a lot of things, isn't it? Not just one thing, right? So a 360-degree approach is the ability for us to engage our client across all of these channels: LinkedIn, email, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and telephone. This is what I mean by engaging our client, in a 360-degree approach. But is it just channels, or is it much more than that, right? So it's a bit more than that. Let me just show you what I mean by, that. Let me show you, where is this? Get it out somewhere. Okay. So a 360-degree approach is this, right? I already, sent it to you guys like this. So it is basically identify your ideal client. So you can see that I'm already saying ideal client, not all your client. So if you get a 300 or 400 clients, not all 400 will be ideal, right? So do you have the capacity to identify your ideal client across the 400 or 600 that you've been given every month or every day? Can you research and write your first line? This is the most important thing. Can you research and write your first line about this has to be about the client himself, not about, Step Up. Can we connect with them on LinkedIn, like and comment on their LinkedIn post? Can we then follow them on Twitter, like and comment their Twitter post? Can we find their email and shoot them an email and send up a follow-up? Can we create a pitch story for them by researching more about them? can we then create a video of the pitch story, right? Using a screen capture and share it with them. Can we find their phone number and pitch them through the phone? So these are the 7 steps of finding the ideal client and making every client into a potential client into a real signed up client. This is what I mean by the 360-degree approach, which means once you have identified an ideal client, then you will make sure that that person is going to be, you will know the person, you will know his company, you will know what they do, you will, it's a very detailed thing, and you will not stop until, this person becomes your client. Does it sound like a lot of hard work? Yes, Kisha, I know you had commented. I wanted to ask you, but yeah, you said to Farah that this is a very good approach, but it has a big challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge is researching, commenting. It has to be done with somebody who is not everybody in a step up. And this is the problem that we are facing as leaders to some of the people that we have. So you'll have to guide him throughout the process at a point whereby you'll be doing given 1 month and 2 months. He can only do the copy pasting, like we mentioned earlier. But this is what we do in the step up. There is no magic. There is nothing, but it is a copy pasting. And as copy pasting is what we've been doing. But changing from copy pasting to this other, it can only be done by a small number of graduates in step up. Not everybody. Not everybody will be having a skill or the capacity of going through the profile of our clients and coming up with an area that you can write a sentence to fish this client. Not everybody. And this is the huge problem that we'll be having in a step up. It can only be done by a small number of people, not everybody.
Very good point. Excellent point. Excellent point. So I am thinking, Kisha, this is a fantastic point. I'm thinking, should we, that is, this is true for, every company, right? There are different levels of people, right? When people join us new, they can only do copy paste. And then 6 months down the line, they are able to, do research. 12 months down the line, they're able to, do a lot more than they can do. So for example, Kisha, if you see this, 7 steps, right? Out of these 7 steps, people should be able to, do like, for example, liking or commenting on, like liking or sharing people's posts. This is also something that is really easy, right? Forget about commenting, but simply liking, right? So maybe we need to give people what they can do, right? And then maybe the team leaders can do the research, right? There has to be maybe some way we have to think through this, Kisha. But what I'm sure is, if we are sure that this guy or this person is going to become a client, then we don't let them go, right? We make sure they become our client by being very, very, precise and, clear about that. It needs a lot of thinking, Kisha. How can we do this? Because it's like this, right? We have, let's say 10, 20 group leaders, maybe 100 team leaders, but we need, we need a mechanism by which, let's say we have identified, just forget about all the group leaders and let's say we have only we have identified 100 or so people who can do research and engage with clients in a deep way, let's say. Then should we just work with those 100 people? And not work with everybody else? Because, my problem is, this is the main problem that Farah raised, right? If there are 1,000 clients, if we have sent a bad message, a bad first message, 900 of them have ignored us. Those 900 might have 100 potential clients inside them. Are you with me, Kisha?
Exactly, and
by going extremely fast, because we thought we will go like a bulldozer, right? We'll go extremely fast and we will not stop, right? We might have trampled a lot of clients, and that's okay. Nobody remembers this one message, right? That somebody had sent. So it's not like, everything is lost. We have more than 1.3 million clients in our database, right? And we should be able to find easily 1,000 from that 1 million who are really ideal clients for us, ideal clients, right? Or, why go back to the 1 million, etc., right? What happened? I will be leaving from here, team rush somewhere. Why? What happened? Some rain is coming, is it, in Kokuma? Jean-Marie has just put a post saying that rushed somewhere. Anyways, so like, for example, we could even do the simple thing. For example, we have identified more than 10,000 contacts, right, who have got funding in the last 90 days, and we have sent them an email, right? You guys are with me? So we have all the founders, global founders, who have received seed funding. Wow, look at that. 10,000 people that we have already, for whom we have sent an email as well. Maybe each one of these guys is worth their weight in gold. Why? Because they all are founders. They all have received funding, right? It's a great time to knock on their door, put our thing in front of them. So let's say Mirek Menzel, click on this guy, go to his thing, right? Do some research about this guy, right? And talk to him and pitch to him precisely. See, look at that. Cellior scores 2.5 million seed round for headless e-commerce platform. So they've already got their platform. Right? And we need to be talking to this guy with a proper, so we have more than 15,000 founders who have got funding in the last 90 days. That list is there with us. And we need to talk to each one of them. Using this new method.
Yeah, sure. If we could be on their neck, easy to win them. Because as we use the new method, it's easy, not like the other one, I think.
But yeah, you're right, Kisha. But you're right. I think we need a very, very solid strategy for this. We need to reconfigure everything, right? We need a way to
Exactly, Anis. Because what we need, because even the number of people that we have, that we might be sure that they can do this work, is because maybe their level of speaking English. But speaking English is different from research skill and communication skill,
yes,
which brings the result of persuading somebody in writing. So it is a skill that we also need to have for you to be able to do this efficiently.
yeah.
And I was like with the idea that if we can be investing into this Apollo, at least in a month, we be reaching out to 10,000 people. The people that we send email, they're the same people that we distribute among our graduates, so they reach out as well. Instead of doing having prospecting in one way for LinkedIn campaign, and then prospecting another way for email campaign.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, Kisha. I have thought about it. My worry is, it's like this, right? Think of it as a fishing. LinkedIn fishing is like fishing in the ocean. Okay, so there is an ocean of 800 million fish, and we are basically trying to fish in that huge ocean. Apollo fishing is like, think of it as, fishing in a like a pond, a golden pond. There is only 15,000 people here, not 15 million people or 500 million people. There is only 15,000, right? And we need to fish and catch every one of these 15,000 people, every one of them. You understand, Kisha? So we need different strategy for fishing, different clients. The broad strategy is better, so we have to use our larger workforce to do the larger things, right? And we need to use the smaller and more creative workforce to do the more creative work. And we need to have a mechanism for people to transition from the world, different worlds. Does it make sense, Kisha? Because we can't let go of the bigger fishing thing, because the bigger fishing thing is extremely important to educate us. If not for anything, forget about winning clients. It is so important for us to get educated, because that's a very important activity. So that's what I think. We cannot let go of the previous one. We have to definitely think about this. I think that's it's enough for today. I'll just pause for questions. But I am thinking deeply about this thing, right? Because this is a do or die situation for us. And everything that we are thinking about for ourselves, we have to do it for our clients as well, right? Remember, sometimes all it takes is, we just need to win one client for our clients, just one client a month, right? That's all. So if there is a way we could apply, so if you think right now, right, we are thinking intelligently right now, right? We are not thinking robotically, right? But I'm not saying, we should stop our robotic approach as well. The robotic approach is also important. There is enough fish in the ocean, to do stuff. So, this intelligent approach is going to play a pivotal role in winning clients for us, as well as winning clients for our clients, right? We really need to pivot on this, guys. I know the struggle that what Kisha pointed out is going to be our biggest struggle. Right now in this very call where there are like 30 people or maybe 40, 50 people, less than maybe 20 people, can do what Kisha or can do this thing, right? Look at a client, research about the client, exactly know what their business is, what is that we can pitch to them, right? And then have the capacity to do wait. That's also very important, right? We cannot start research and start pitching to all the people, right? That's also a bad idea. We have to connect with them, wait for the connect to happen, and then pitch. So there is this a nice funnel, if you may, right? So that you don't have to you only do research maybe when the client connects back with you, maybe, I don't know, or maybe there is a response or something like that. But let's think about all those things. But this is a new thing that I thought I'll show you guys. And I just out of curiosity, right? Just in this very call, how many of you feel comfortable, if you don't mind raising your hand, how many of you feel comfortable doing this 360-degree approach? If you could just raise your hand. Yeah, Farah, Deng, who else? It's okay. I mean, please don't feel pressurized to raise your hand because it might, all of us have to learn how to do this 360-degree approach, right? Moses, Ahmed, Ruwach. So that's 5 of you. 6 patients. Jackson 7, Abdul Karim's 8. 8 out of 31.
No, I didn't get the question right.
No, the question is, how many here in this call feel comfortable to research about a client, come up with a good idea of how to sell our services to the client's business? Like,
Okay, but it's good. How I saw it was clear to me, but I don't know what the problem with the copywriting. Because copywriting also is good when you're doing research. You only take a piece of small things and then you combine them together, and it's good to when you're copywriting.
Yep.
It's good to write.
Yeah,
about
Chol, in fact, I'm not even worried about copywriting. I just, like, for example, if you read about a client, let's say Alexander, this particular guy, right? Alexander Torangera, right? You read about this client, you go to his, let's say you go to his thing like this, let's say Mirek Menzel, and he's saying, drummer, open source. Okay, what is his business, right? What is the business that he has? Salior. This is the business that he has. So go to his company. It's an open source headless e-commerce platform, right? The leading, so read about his thing. Read about his thing. And you should be able to figure out in like 30 minutes or 10 minutes, what is that I can give these guys? What is that service I can sell these guys? So far, with my head, I'm not able to figure it out, right? He's saying API for global brands, okay? Open source commerce API for global brands. GraphQL first, cloud native. Wow. Maybe the research is not good enough only on the LinkedIn, so I have to go to his, so just trying to deliver shopping experiences to people. So everything in his website is about his product.
When you to about section.
And he doesn't have an about section on his website. So, this is not easy, right? I am struggling right now to come up with an idea. What should we sell to this guy? The founder of Salier, who got $2.5 million in funding, right? I'm really struggling because I'm not able to understand who is this customer.
I think they might be looking for some people who would need for like a chatbot, something like that, automated stuff.
Absolutely wrong. See, this is also
API.
something I really worry about, right? Not having an understanding, and that's also a problem. So if I just his pricing page gives a good idea, right? He's trying to sell to startups and a little bit larger businesses and big enterprises. So he's, this is starting to give me an idea. Who is he selling to? And then I can tell, forget about all these, pro and enterprise, right? I can basically tell this guy, hey, Michael, right? I've looked at your, product, love it. And he's also saying, global brands as well, right? And it's a commerce API for global brands. So basically, what we can do is, you can tell him, Michael, I can identify, more than, 30,000 global brands who use, e-commerce, and try to pitch your product to them. So this is all you have to say. You don't have to come up with some magical, copywriting bullshit. You have to say, hey, Michael, right? But obviously you won't say this first, right? You're pitching now, so this has to be your second or your third message. You have to say, having looked at your product, I think we can easily come up with some 35,000 plus startups in Europe and pitch your product to their founders. That's all you have to say, right? It's not like a massive research and nothing. And before you say that, you would have liked his you would have gone to his thing, you would have connected with him, you would have liked his post, you could have you would have done something, right? So it's all about reading the thing and writing something that is extremely relevant to what they do in their startup. It's extremely easy. At the same time, it can be quite challenging, right? If you don't know what you're doing, right? So this is good, actually. At least I got 10 people. So can I ask maybe Obedi or Rita or Safari or Sheila or Zakaria, like, what do you think? What are you worried about? What is missing? Because if I don't know, like Christine or Sheila, if you can tell me, what is that you are worried about? What is that you can't do? So that I can focus next time on that, to teach you how to do this research about the people and how to come up with these 1 or 2 sentences. What are you worried about? Ali, Christine, the people who did not raise their hands. Anybody? What are you worried about? Not sure. Anybody else? I mean, okay, let's see. Somebody's saying, I'm not worried, Anish, I can do it. Okay. But I didn't see you raise your hand. That's why I asked Ali. Thanks. So anyone else that who feels that they don't have something to do that research, and Christine, Sheila, Kidamu, Patience was okay. Rita, Jackie, Shem. Okay, no problem. So I think think about it. I think like everything, it will only come through practice. And I'm thinking, give me this 1 week. I'm going to be, working to finish a lot of things. Right. Oh, Patience, thanks. Yeah. Moses is saying, this is Moses, right? Yeah. Will you draft a research and client description template to use so you can do research? Yeah, Moses, that's what I'm thinking. I'll do that. And I think, we don't need to do all these, draft and all those things. We'll basically go back to our HubSpot, which is where we need to do everything, right? I'll make it so easy for you to be able to write that first line, right? So let's say if you have a client, you just go to the client and then, you're able to write that one-liner, right? The one-liner is basically, is a thing. So Kisha, the good news, Kisha, these 15,000 people here, right, are already there in HubSpot, and I want to make sure that we don't assign them to anybody. We keep it protected, so that we choose a team of the 10-20 people who raise their hands, and we distribute it to them, and then we are able to attack these 15,000 clients in a very, very different manner and see the results. Yeah, it's already everything is done, but I just need to create a few extra rows or columns so that we can research and write about them. Does it all make sense, guys? Cool. Okay, excellent. Any final questions? Any questions from anybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, already.
Go ahead, Charles. Yeah, go ahead, Farah.
Yes, and it's so my question is that I actually love the idea and it's of connecting with the client and asking them just for collaboration so that they can lend us their voice, and then maybe yeah, I'm just thinking even if they share our story just on their LinkedIn, that will be enough, and then coming back and discussing with them about possible collaborations. So I was just thinking we can do this maybe immediately as we are hunting right now, because I think we changed about our first message, and it includes them lending us their voice. So that was the point. I think that was the pick for me today.
Yeah, definitely. I've already changed it, but I'm not able to come. So what I'm thinking is go back to our old message. Slightly, I've changed it. So it's going to be something like this. But the thing is, so this is completely there is no pitch. There is nothing, right? So we are only saying imagine a world where every refugee is empowered to create their own destiny. I am a refugee from the Kokuma refugee camp, where we are reskilling and employing thousands of refugees into digital professionals. Here's our story. Lend us your voice to this human revolution. So this is, potentially your connection message. And once they're connected, what we are saying, we are not still selling. So thanks for connecting. Then we talk a little bit more about the thing. Then we talk about our vision. Then we talk about, something like, something like, please, lend us your voice. Again, lend us your voice by sharing or by liking, because we by liking or sharing our post to your network, right? Because this we can easily follow, right? Okay, so still we are not asking them for anything. Thanks for connecting. We are still talking about our vision, and we are asking them to connect by sharing or liking our. See, if they have done this, if you can make people do this, you have literally won half the battle, right?
Yes, I agree with you on
You have
that.
literally,
And you can also get, you can also get, and sorry to interrupt you, you can also get clients on their network who may be interested in them sharing our post.
exactly. So this is a double whammy for both of us. It's a win-win for us, right? It's sometimes it's even a bigger win than them becoming a client, or because if somebody is sharing a point to their world, they have literally bought into it, right? So so copy the link. Right. So lend us your voice by this thing. If I don't know whether to like if you like that's it. One thing per message. This should be the second message, nothing else. Okay. And then one last statement. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Lend us your voice. And then one more. I want one more statement. That which is join us in this human revolution. While I'm doing this, I just wanted to ask you, where is the best place for, where can we, maintain these first, second, third messages for everything, LinkedIn, email, everything, so that, I think one of you, I don't remember, Jackson or somebody raised the question of, always be able to access the latest set of messages, for everybody.
I think it should be on our Telegram, whereby anybody can access it. Maybe pin it there or WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I think Telegram is a good place where you can, but yeah, yes, please.
Yes, you mean the first message and all that?
Yeah, first message, second message, all those things.
That is, yeah. I think what we did for those of us who are actually managing the Telegram, we managed to program rows in our first message. That's why we are even thinking of right now disabling those first message and second message, because we want to get rid of them. So we can, if you give us the first message, the second message, and all that, we can program and Rose will finish the work.
Yeah, I think one of the things we should do, create. We want to have different messages for LinkedIn, Twitter, email, everything. Okay, so just but if somebody say hashtag first, just put LinkedIn only, okay? So that LinkedIn is our obvious one. But then if they say email, hashtag email first or email second, we'll give them the email one.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That won't be a problem, I think. So our graduates are so much used to our Telegram. They actually come there when they want to access the first message and the second message. So yeah, I was thinking before even thinking of Telegram, I was thinking of Notion, like right now how we're doing. But
yeah,
they people want to get access to this. They don't like taking things from here. But I think Telegram is quite easy.
I see.
Anis, I think why can't we just put them on board? Because most of our graduates mostly use WhatsApp, so we can put it on. We can pin it on Telegram, and we can put it on our group's description on WhatsApp. So anywhere that our graduates access, then
probably put a
they get
link.
it.
Yeah, we can only put a link on this thing. So I'll put the link to the Notion page so that people can see.
Of course.
Yeah, because you can't WhatsApp groups. You can't give long description.
What about the click
the
up?
description content is
Where we keep them, the click up.
Yeah, click up as well. Delivered. And that's it. I think, this is the second message. The everything else, right, is like, so if this is this is a great message, right? And we should be able to use this message, when somebody is asking, okay, so how can you help? Right? Yeah, we just need to think through this, but I think this is okay. First connection message is this, right? And second, this thing is this. That's it. I'll just share it here. I'll just share it on Telegram so that you are able to get that thing, Farah. But this is the first and the second message. Then we need to think about the other messages. Okay, the first message is so until the so the third one should be sharing, right? So they ask us more stuff if they want more information. If you want to book a meeting. Yeah, we'll work on this, Farah, but I think the first and second messages just start sharing it right away. We need a similar type of thing for, so this is for LinkedIn. And then we need to do that for Twitter as well. I'm just preparing, some for Twitter. I know we wanted to launch it for Twitter. So yeah, we need to think about that. So we've been collecting for Twitter, guys. I don't know, let's figure out how to start on Twitter. Maybe, we'll try to do something about it.